You get to the fun part?
Yeah. It's going to be more, of course, a lot of blood, violence, guns involved as well. And it's very gritty. And it's a different feel compared to what the other MCU stuff that we've seen.
The Sith reaches the edge of the placid pool. He unslings his bag from his shoulder and unpacks it, while Osha observes from a hiding spot in the rocks. As he begins to untie a belted knot from around his waist, she straightens up for a better look. He begins to undress, revealing a prominent scar on his well-toned back. Dropping his billowy-legged hakama pants, he steps forward with the sunlight accentuating his taut muscles. He wades barefoot into the pool. Keeping her predatory gaze on him, she lies in wait behind some rocks closer to the water's edge.
I learned a long time ago that there's no sense getting all riled up every time a bunch of idiots give you a hard time. In the end, the universe tends to unfold as it should. Plus, I have a really large penis. That keeps me happy.
My mind is a raging torrent, flooded with rivulets of thought, cascading into a waterfall of creative alternatives.
God darn it, Mr. Lamar. You use your tongue prettier than a $20 whore.
Here they come and the crowd cannot wait. Oh, hail Friday Night Tights. I apologize because I'm probably late. Oh, hail Friday Night Tights. Radical light and highly organized. It's Friday Night Tights, Friday Night Tights. If you're still not offended tonight, oh, hail Friday Night Tights. Rest assured that the chances are high. Oh, hail Friday Night Tights. Radical light and highly organized. It's Friday Night Tights, Friday Night Tights. Time has come, they are finally here. Oh, hail Friday Night Tights. We're not affiliated, just so we're clear. Oh, hail Friday Night Tights. Radical light, highly organized. It's Friday Night Tights. Sweet Mother Mary, turn on the oil, you got real. It's Friday Night Tights, Friday Night Tights, Friday Night Tights, Friday Night Tights, Friday Night Tights.
All right, that was good.
Hi. Why am I down there? What the hell is going on here? What the hell is going on? Happy 420, everybody. I don't know why you're all celebrating Hitler's birthday, but I mean, do what you're going to do. I know it's all about the sticky icky. The sticky icky. Should I go on my pot rant on 420? Probably not. There's a lot of people who smoke pot. You do what you want to do. I would just advise against the wake and bake. I used to be the wake and bake. Oh yeah. But yeah, I'm not a fan of pot. Not a fan. Yeah, so it's just another day to some of you. But you know what? If you all need to smoke a little of the hippie lettuce to get through the day, who am I to judge? Hey, so yeah, it's we were gonna do it tonight, but we being me decided I'm just gonna do it this afternoon. I was up super late working on our Marvel video, which turned into a monster, and poor Garrett's in the editing dungeon right now. And I just thought of like a whole 5-minute section I could put in, which I really want to. Inspired by a tweet, which we'll go over in a little bit. Because the events of CinemaCon, where many people will say that Disney Marvel won CinemaCon. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'd have to ask. You'd have to ask Chris and Alan Ing. They were there, and they can tell you like what company, what studio won. Because I'm pretty sure Dune went over pretty well there. And I want to say it sounded to me like it went over better than Doomsday. Now, Doomsday sounded like it went over really well. But, I mean, Chris and Alan have already talked about it. I'll keep it a mystery. It's in my video on why it might have sounded like it went over really well. Let's just say that some people might have been paid to go there, paid by given flights, given rooms, that kind of payment to act accordingly, we'll just say. I heard Chris and Alan talking about that on their stream. Talked to Chris about it a little bit, and it appears that other people have noticed that too. Really strange. Totally unlike Disney to pay people to go out. I don't know if you follow a guy named Grizzy on the YouTube. You should. He just put out a great video showing channels that tried to take my channel down and channels who have claimed that they are not shills being flown out to the set of The Mandalorian and shown around, including Eric Vosk. Highly recommend. Go sub to Grizzy. Mr. Grizzy does great work. Fantastic stuff. And hey, his video inspired my next one. So thanks, Grizzy. Good on you, pal. Yeah, simping for Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, is she here or is she gone? I can't remember how the lyrics go. Is she gone? Is she here? Kathleen Kennedy's employment status is queer. I guess she's still around. Grizzy is not Grizzy on FNT. Sure. Absolutely. We're going to be rolling in a lot of new guests this year. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how that works out. Let's see who's here. Lord Thoth, how are you, sir? Nick HX, Big Willie Style, Eric K the mod, pulling double duty. Are you modding on 3 or 4 streams right now, sir? You are a superhero. Jack Hammer, Hollowmaster, O'Bard, Dr. Schlurpo, the Penguin Overlord, the Weasel. Oh my God, I can't read. Sun Sand Shadowcast. Okay, it just took me a minute to get. It's all one word. I can barely read. Functionally illiterate, functionally retarded, and on YouTube. I'm in the right place. I think I'm in the right place. Abigor, welcome. Lord Castle, hail. Blood Viper. Ryan won't like that it's changed. He doesn't like anything, so I'm more worried about like when Ryan likes something. Remember that short period of time last year? He was super happy. He's like, man, I'm going down this ancient civilizations rabbit hole, and it's really neat. And oh man, I'm gonna go to Japan and go on all these trips. And he was all happy, and every single one of us were like, what's going on with Ryan? Is he okay? We were concerned. But that didn't last very long. So we're like, okay, Ryan's okay. Ryan has passion. Is that what we want to call it? The funny thing is, Yowzer, I'm going to sound like old man. I was not unlike Ryan in my 30s. Not unlike Ryan in my 30s. When is the basement ep with AJ out? Not sure. Not sure. They have to they edit them together, and but I'll let you know. I just messaged him today. He's doing great. But soon as I'll let you guys know. There is a video from Wandering Wolf that was put out yesterday on our trip to Egypt. I put it on X. It's pretty cool. It's part 3, so there's multiple parts. But yes, we did actually video the Egypt trip, and it was good. And Japan is coming up, and Japan just had an earthquake. No injuries reported, which is good. A little bit of a tsunami. Yeah, one of the reasons I didn't want to do it at night is because I didn't want to stream over Ryan either, because he's got fuck my life tonight. Plus, it's pouring rain, so I can't go on my walk. So I'm just sitting around. I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it. So we're going to do a square up from Friday. We're also going to talk about some Marvel and Star Wars stuff. So CinemaCon happens. They dropped the Doomsday trailer. I think some people thought it would come out today. I mean, I guess it still could, but I doubt it. I think they're going to sit on that one for a while. I think they're trying to create hype, and I'm not like, I think this is actually a good idea. They show it to the people at CinemaCon so all the critics can feel special. And then the critics create the hype, and it starts leaking. And this is everything Disney Marvel wants, because they need energy behind something they're doing, because they haven't had any at all. If you just look back at let's look back at the last year and 4 months. So beginning January 1st, 2025 to today, everything they've put out has failed. Absolutely everything. And it's starting to look like DC did before James Gunn took over, and they just had these obligatory films they had to put out, and they just flopped. So Marvel's looking like right now. There's no energy behind it at all. And the fact of the matter is, this will be the subject of my next video, is they are actually trying to change. I just don't think they can. So we've had Daredevil, Born Again season 1 and 2. And if you go on X, there'll be some passionate people telling you that this is the greatest thing since the Netflix series, or even better than the Netflix series. But in reality, nobody's watching it. So it's hard to say whether it's actually well received or not. It's got really high Metacritic scores. It's got high Rotten Tomatoes scores. So for the people who are watching it, I think it's well received, relatively well received for the most part. Same thing could be said about Thunderbolts. For the few people who watched it, it was relatively well received. Unfortunately, not enough people watched it. Not enough people are watching Daredevil to justify its expense. So hence we have a Doomsday that will be the most expensive pair of movies in the history of time. More expensive than Avatar. We'll never know the real number, but you can't tell me you're paying the Russo brothers $100 million, 80 to $100 million, not counting whatever they make off the back end. Robert Downey Jr. making anywhere from 50 to 100 million, not counting what he's making off the back end. We don't know what Chris Evans is making, but I'm guessing it's not nothing. Plus the potential 35 other cast members. It's not like Hugh Jackman's working for scale, even if he's in it for a few minutes. It's not like Tobey Maguire is working for scale. So it's going to be a really expensive movie. And they're still in post-production, and Marvel has fired almost their entire visual effects team, including a guy who's been there for 16 years. 16 years. 16 years. Wanted to get to this right away, though, because this gave me a new idea. And I love Robert. Robert Meyer Burnett is a good dude. Is a good, genuine dude. He's passionate about things. Hot. Somebody responded with my thing. I'm glad this happened. This is good. This is good. This will we can discuss this right now. Let's do it. For one, get dark mode, bro. Jesus. All right, so let's look at Zemo's tweet. Are people really this dumb? Russo clearly meant story-wise, the film picks up threads left by Endgame, bringing back Steve Rogers and exploring how his choice to go back in time may have impacted the multiverse. Not that phase 4 and 5 suddenly don't matter anymore. And Robert just says correct, and that's fine. Robert's read the script. Okay, now he's read the script prior to reshoots. I don't know what script he read. I think it had to be one that after they finished principal photography, because the script wasn't written while they were in principal photography. I know that for a fact. They were punching up lines and stuff, and Michael Waldron was there. Michael Waldron, who gave us Loki, bisexual Loki, Infinity Stones as paperweights. I just got a flash flood warning. Not surprising considering it's been raining for like 72 hours straight. Yeah, that Michael, the memory store from Doctor Strangemom, that Michael Waldron. All right, so Robert just said correct. That's fine. Here is my retort. I could have got on a pithy tweet rampage on Twitter, but I can live stream. I can just talk about this stuff in long form. So let's do it. So what you're telling me is they don't want us to forget phase 4 and 5. That's interesting. Give me a moment. I was prepared for this. I used to be prepared. Oh, now it's gone. How did it go? Where'd it go? Hang on. I'll find it again. Give me a moment. I was prepared, and then I guess I closed out the window. List. Oh. Okay. I'm having AI do some work for me. So, because for one, let's just take what the directors say at face value, and let's go back to Endgame and Steve Rogers' decision to hand the shield over to Sam Wilson and fuck off into the past and live his life with Haley Atwell, with Agent Carter. I mean, if you look at those fun bags, you understand. But as I said then, as many said then, and I will say now, that is contradictory to everything Steve Rogers is about. He would never fucking do that. So you're telling me that the guy who risked everything for Bucky we'll just sit by and watch Kennedy get assassinated, the Vietnam War happen, the Twin Towers fall, just sit out most of the Cold War. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? So from the get-go, this was stupid. So now the Russo brothers feel like they have an opportunity to fix how fucking stupid this was. The 5-year blip was stupid. It ruined Marvel. Before we get into the intersectional feminism and the identity politics, the 5-year blip ruined Marvel. It was fucking dumb. There was no way to resolve that. It wasn't thought out very well. And it was all to preserve a daughter from Tony Stark that he probably could have had anyway, that we haven't seen since. By the way, so Robert's read the script. Maybe he could answer this. Now, I know the plot. I haven't read the script. I know how thin it is, but maybe he can answer that. If phase 5 and phase 4 are still going to be important, are they going to, I don't know, answer the open threads left by both of those phases, for which there are many. I think there are at least 17 major open threads from Marvel's phase 4 and 5 that I'm betting the vast majority don't get resolved or even mentioned. Are they going to mention Kang at all? They'll probably, say he died or something, but that'll be it. Oh, if phases 4 and 5 happen. Now, one of those phases is White Vision, or one of those open threads is White Vision. That's going to get taken care of in Vision Quest, which will not be connected to Avengers Doomsday in any way, shape, or form, as far as I know. Sharon Carter, the power broker. Remember the stinger from Falcon and Winter Soldier? Going to bring that up. How about the signal from space to the 10 rings? We're going to talk about that. How about the Young Avengers or the Champions / the Champions? We're gonna bring that up again. Black Knight, who spoke to Blade after the Eternals. One of the Celestials coming back for Judgment. Are we going to see the Eternals at all? Doomsday doesn't feature Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange mom literally ended with him and Clea going into an incursion. Now, I have a feeling they'll get to that one in Secret War. Kind of strange that they're not getting it, for lack of a better description. They're not getting it to it in Doomsday. Hercules at the end of Thor. Previously mentioned Council of Kangs. Where are the new Guardians of the Galaxy? And there is so much more. Now, Monica Rambeau being trapped in another universe with Beast, I'm sure they'll answer that. I'm sure all of these, because phase 4 and 5 were so important, and believe me, I'm just scratching the surface on the shit that they've left open, that they're going to answer everything. Or, hear me out, they're just going to deal with that open plot thread from Endgame. And I think at best, some of this stuff will be resolved in a single line of dialogue, if that. Which at the end of the day will mean that phases 4 and 5 didn't really matter that much. But it's my favorite thing when Rando on X go, are these people dumb? The media illiteracy is unbelievable. Corporate director said, Disney Marvel does not deserve any benefit of the doubt. I will list you Daredevil again, Daredevil Born Again, season 1 and 2, Wonder Man, Thunderbolts, Captain African American, Fantastic Four First Steps, Ironheart. That is the last 6 things they put out in the last year and 4 months. None of them have been successful. Wonder Man was picked up for his season 2. It didn't chart, even though despite it being released all at once, it did not chart, but it was cheap. So why not pick it up? It might have been picked up previously. I don't know. It's a mystery how fucking Marvel runs their operation at this point. Fantastic Four First Steps, the most successful of the flops, still flopped. Thunderbolts flopped miserably. Captain America, Captain African American, lost shitloads of money for them because it was shot essentially twice. And these aren't just rumors from the Wrap. This is people who worked on this who no longer work at Disney. Well, I lost one of my sources. He was one of the casualties, which is a bummer. But yep, he's still got some stuff on Doomsday. But according to people who have up until very recently, because they got fired, have seen dailies from Doomsday, have seen a lot of stuff. The word from inside is, and these are people who are fans. These are people who, like, for instance, the person I talked to loved Wonder Man, absolutely loved it, said it was one of the best things they did. He was like, on Doomsday, he's like, it's all right. So this is big fan, got a paycheck from the company, and this is before he got fired, and he's like, this is the guy who told me Tobey Maguire was in the beginning, and he gets offed. And the whole thing is, he's like, okay, he was trying to preface by telling me, he's all, listen, they're really trying to like create some stakes. They're swinging for the fences. They really want this one to have impact early on. And I'm like, so you're going to kill the single most popular character this side of Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man in all of Marvel and that world right off the bat? He's all, yeah. I'm like, ooh. Now, of course, they're most everybody's coming back. There will get, like, pretty much everybody's going to die, and then they'll be brought back for Battle World by the end of the film. Now, I don't know if they bring everybody back at the end. I didn't get word on that. Robert would probably know. But I mean, my question is, are we going to have an entire movie on Battle World like after that? That sounds like the final battle of Endgame in, like, which looked like mud. I lost count how many times Professor X died, dear chat. This will be 4th. So he died in X-Men 3. Right? Maybe it just feels like a lot. He definitely died in X-Men 3. And then he died in Logan. He will be dying again. Yes. Technically, he dies in Days of Future Past. Okay, so that's 3. So this will be 4. He died in Picard season 1. But then they brought him back as a fucking robot. Oh, Jesus. Oh, he died in Doctor Strange Mom. Thank you, chat. I almost forgot. So yeah, this will be his 5th death. Oh, that'll be a good supercut. All the times Professor X dies. Doctor getting killed by Wanda Maximoff. Fucking Professor X. They've really, over the years, they've amped up Wanda's powers, turning her into like demigod in the comics. It's been kind of my, like, this goes before, like, this is an actual Marvel problem. I really hated how much they amped up. Fucking, they've just gassed up Black Panther unbelievably over the last 20 years. I mean, kind of starting with Christopher Priest, although his run was pretty good. But then when Reggie Hunlin comes in and he's like fucking beating Silver Surfer, it's like, get the fuck out of here. I was so mad. And it's so obvious. Like, oh, God. So obvious why they're doing it. We're just trying to pump up. The reality, I think it was Kata. I can't remember. It might have been Kata. The reality is that T'Challa, well, I think T'Challa's the Black Panther, the only Black Panther. As far as like interesting and engaging characters, it's all right. It's fine. I've always liked him better as a member of the Avengers. But it's not like Black Panther comics like flew off the shelves for years on end, right? They would have good, if you go to put a good creative team on it, it would sell well, but it would always phase out. So to Zemo, maybe I will retort. Are you that dumb to believe the Russos when they tell you that they're gonna make a direct sequel to Endgame and not just forget about Phase 4 and 5? I guess we'll find out when the movie comes out. And again, I'm looking forward to having all those Phase 4 and 5 plot threads tied up in a nice little bow. Want to see Harry Styles as Star Fox? Want to see him roll in? The thing is, wait a minute, is Monica Rambeau in this movie? I don't think she is. But Beast is going to be in the movie. So they're going to have Beast and no, it wasn't Monica Rambeau who was there. Was it Monica? It was one of the Rambos was trapped in their universe. So I'm wondering if she's not going to be in it. Yeah, so there's no Brie Larson Captain Marvel. There's no Photon or whatever the hell they're going to call her. There's no not Remy. Remy Lambeau is going to be in it. Remy, my dog's name too. What about Doctor Strange's third eye? I guess we'll find out in Secret War or Secret Wars. Proton, sorry. I say Photon, Proton. But none of the Guardians of the Galaxy are going to be in it. Brie Larson's not going to be in it. She-Hulk's not going to be in it. King Valkyrie, Tessa Thompson is not going to be in it. I know that crushes everybody. No Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. You know what? I'm gonna agree with you. And I said it at the time, and I think she understands that. I can't find the chat now. He says they did Brie dirty. They kind of did. If you look at it, they put her out there and said, you're going to be the new face of Marvel. You're going to lead the Avengers. We're going to make you the female Superman. The sky's the limit for you, kid. You're going to be in all the movies, all the Avengers. And then they just stopped calling her. And they stopped calling her after Captain Marvel did $1 billion. $1 because they understood why it was successful. I mean, gone are the days where you can put out an Aquaman and Captain Marvel and get $1 billion. Those days are gone. The young lady playing Miss Marvel is actually a charming actress. Amon Vellani and Haley, I can never say, I always want to say Seinfeld, but it's Steinfeld, are both improvements on the comic book character, if I'm being real. So Amon Vellani playing Miss Marvel and Haley Steinfeld playing Kate Bishop, they play those characters, and those are actual characters that are better live action by orders of magnitude than they are in the comic books. They're insufferable. See you next Tuesdays in the comic book, but the two actresses who play them, the shows weren't good, but at least the two actresses that play them bring enough personality and verisimilitude to the character that makes them likable. So they can actually work. I think they can actually work. But holy shit, Kate Bishop is terrible in the comics. And actually, like, not the problem with the Hawkeye show. She wasn't the problem with the Hawkeye show. Everything else was. Listening to you defend that feminist is making sick. You are literally the one that led the movement against the woke crap, and now you tread water for them. What the fuck happened? What feminist? What feminist? You mean Haley Steinfeld and Amon Vellani? Well, I mean, I just said there were improvement on the comic books. You did not hear me, biggest dickus, say that the shows were good. I didn't even watch Miss Marvel. I got one episode in and it was terrible. And Hawkeye is intersectional feminist trash, but it's mostly because of what they did to Hawkeye and Kingpin. They're fucking terrible. It's a terrible show. You did. I'm streaming now. I decided to stream. Thanks for the coffee. Oh, was it for Brie Larson? I mean, I said that at the time. So it's not anything that I haven't said before. But Brie Larson hasn't said anything in years. She's gone. Captain Marvel is gone. Like, the fans won on that one. The Marvels was shit. But I think she's learned her lesson and just goes out there and talks about how good the movie's going to be. I mean, that's kind of what we want. So, yeah, I got nothing against Brie. But my friend, the MCU ain't dead. Oh my God, it's not dead. If you want to talk about Daredevil Born Again, for sure. With Daredevil Born Again, I put up a list, but there's 4 female characters who have taken over for male characters, and all of them suck. And they are just Disney female protagonists. But back to this real quick. If you think that they're actually going to address in a really meaningful way anything from phase 4 and 5, other than just having characters from phase 4 and 5 in the movie, I would question your intelligence. But we will see when the movie comes out. We will see when the movie comes out. Yeah, I heard it's well, yeah, don't they have a non-binary daughter? And yeah. Brie understood those freaks won't go to see her movies no matter how much woke bullshit she says. Yeah, it's just simple. I mean, it's not like she's changed her ways. I mean, I think most actors are empty vessels, and that gets they're just NPCs that gets filled in. And I'm not defending what she said before because it was fucking stupid. But what's said about that has been said. It was said years ago, and since then, she shut her pie hole. Good, good. She was always horribly miscast as Carol Danvers. Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel sucks, has always sucked in the comic book. She was great as Miss Marvel, terrible as Captain Marvel, because when they made her Captain Marvel, they made her like quintessential feminist character, and that came from Kelly Sue DeConnick. And I'm glad she's gone. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Doomsday will absolutely be one of the tightest movies ever written, and it will resolve every open thread from phase 4 and 5 and deal with them with intelligence and engagement, and it won't be just one like throwaway line. Oh, yeah, Kang died. Next. I reviewed it. Unicorn Store, Freddie. Yeah, I reviewed it. It came out. God, right after Captain Marvel. But I haven't forgotten. And no, I don't think Brie Larson is based. I'm not saying that at all. I think she's just learned to shut up. But if you want to, this is something I brought up with Black Snape. And it's good you bring this up. It's good. It's all good, Freddie. With Black Snape, this doesn't. The actors still take responsibility because they take the roles, and they can't pretend that when we take these roles, they're not going to be controversial. Now, probably not as much with Brie as Captain Marvel because she probably didn't know shit. But she probably learned real quick and then doubled and tripled down on it. And that's what was bothering everybody. The point of my Captain Marvel videos, which were many, many years ago, was the character, right? It was always about the character. Unicorn Store. Dude. God, I remember that because I live reviewed it in Sicily. So I was like sitting there on my little laptop, and I had the most beautiful view in the world, and I'm watching this fucking shitty Brie Larson movie. That's about I fucking dicks. I mean, that's that's what it's about, dude. It was so bad. It was so bad. But like with Papa Escudo, when he takes the role of Black Snape, he knew damn well what he was getting into. So you can't really hide behind like, oh my God, I can't believe the fans are reacting this way. You fucking knew. You knew. And even if Brie didn't know, she found out, and she could have shut up then. But in both cases, and I said this in my previous Black Snape video, is the corporation has no problem rolling a woman or a black person out as a shield to cover for their decisions that are completely based on social and political agendas. They did this with the female doctor too. And then it's up to the actor with how you deal with that. And there is a way to deal with that, like don't take the role. But if you do take the role, I don't know, shut up and try to be as respectful as possible and go, you know what? We did the best we could. Don't fan the flames or blame the fans, which they do every fucking time. Oh, wait till Mandalorian. It's bad. Well, it's bad writing, but with Black Snape, it's inexcusable. They should have just never cast that role. And it's going to be a dark shadow over that series, no matter what happens. No matter how good it is, it's going to affect it. Miss Marvel Carol Danvers was great in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes animated. I do agree. Yes. I used to buy and read Miss Marvel comics back in the 70s, but that's when she was, I don't know, she had a little more personality. They made her an alcoholic later, and they got rid of the character for a while, and she was best known for, getting her powers sucked out by Rogue. But she was never going to be a prominent character in Marvel, like ever. And it was so forced. They forced it in the comic books. They forced it in the movies. And that's where we're, if we want to circle back to Jen Psaki, we're going to circle back. You want to circle back to Marvel saying, forget phase 4 and 5, which is exactly what they're fucking saying, by the way. If you want to circle back to that, it's because in phase 4 and 5, they decided to bypass stories, many, many stories that they could have adapted forever, that sold in the hundreds of thousands to millions, and went right towards, they didn't even really adapt the decent Joe Quesada era. They went right into Marvel Now and all new, all different Marvel. And these are comics that, they would kill for these sales today, but sold in the tens of thousands and were all canceled. I lost track of how many times Captain Marvel comics got canceled. I lost track how many times Miss Marvel comics got canceled. And the geniuses at Marvel Studios are like, despite having the data of failure in the corporation, it's in their publishing wing, but they could have looked at the sales number. It goes, you had real marketing data with real comic book fans going, well, how well did Black Captain America go over? How well did Riri Williams go over? And it would show you without the shadow of a doubt that they were absolute failures, but they didn't bother looking, or they thought, you know what? We'll do it better. We can pull this off. We can pull this off. And they didn't. They didn't. Marvel knew phase 4 and 5 didn't matter before they even got into phase 5. Okay. They were talking about change prior to the Marvels coming out because they knew the Marvels was going to be shit. Now, did they know it was going to flop as hard as it did? I don't know, but they knew it wasn't great. They knew Captain African American wasn't great. That's why they tried to fix it and reshoot it. They knew Ironheart wasn't great. That's why they sat on it as long as they possibly could. Now, they were really behind the Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, which leads me to believe, and Daredevil Born Again, which leads me to believe that, well, having the desire to change and actually taking the steps to do it are two different things. The MCU was better off with Perlmutter. It was better off with him there to balance out Kevin Feige, because Kevin Feige has had absolute power for the last 6 years, and you see what we've gotten. So that's forced them to bring back Robert Downey Jr., bring back Chris Evans, bring back the Russo brothers, decide to, you know what? We're going to take a serious crack at Thor again. We're going to stop making him a clown. But they're also saddled with all the characters that they have created over the last 2 years. Are they going to kill them all? Well, that'd be awesome if they did. That would be awesome if they did. But now they're paying the price. Now they're paying the price. Doomsday, if even half of the shit that they put off the top of my head, you can correct me if I'm wrong, chat. 14 movies in phase 4 and 5, 14 films. And then if we count the animated series that are somewhat in universe, like we won't count X-Men 97 or Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, but What If kind of, maybe is. So 17 or 18 TV shows, series, specials, animated. So that's a fucking lot in the last 2 years that you don't need to pay attention to. Black Panther doesn't happen under Perlmutter. Stan Lee tried since the 90s. As far as the movie, that is untrue. Absolutely untrue. They tried to get a Black Panther movie with Wesley Snipes off the ground. That one's if that's what you're talking about. If you're talking about the movie, but that is untrue. He was trying. He was around when Marvel was trying to develop a Black Panther movie. The development was around prior to him showing up, but then he was still trying to get it off the ground. The one thing he said is he didn't think female action figures sold, and he was correct. Echo will not return at Avengers Doomsday, which is well, I haven't heard much about it. I haven't heard much about it. It'd be a big gamble, but it's not unusual for Marvel to go off the reservation. I tried to get every joke into my Echo video. I did. I think I did okay. I think I did okay. Gavin Newsom as the Beyonder. That's good. That's good. But yeah, I would love for the MCU to be dead and it's white boy summer and they just bring back all the great male characters. But I don't know how much is Simu Liu going to be in Doomsday. The fact that Chris Evans is returning and he won't be in costume as Captain America the entire film. Like he won't be holding the shield. And everybody wants to see Robert Downey Jr. come back as Iron Man and Chris Evans come back as Captain America. That's what everybody wants to see. I don't think you're going to get Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. I don't think you're going to get it. And maybe Chris Evans becomes Cap in Secret Wars. But we'll see. We'll see. He's going to be Steve Rogers in Doomsday. So we'll see how it turns out. Yeah. And then we can start asking, that's a good point, chat. Like Robert Downey Jr. is in his 60s. So is he going to continue playing Doctor Doom or is he going to continue playing Iron Man? Is Chris Evans going to continue playing Captain America after this soft reboot? Are they going to bring back Simu Liu? Is Pedro Pascal, who's 50 and not straight, going to play Mr. Fantastic? Are the Eternals ever going to show up again? That would really be saying something if you don't even hear like a word about the Eternals in these two movies. That would be fucking hilarious. That would be hilarious. The Eternals weren't so eternal after all. But at least, hey, Marvel has got people talking about Marvel. And I don't like say Doomsday and Secret War are the greatest movies ever made. Where do we go from here? I wish I could tell you. I'm just going to say that that they're not going to do what they need to do. They need to do a hard reboot. They need to recast Cap and Iron Man and Thor and Hulk, and it doesn't look like they're going to do that. It's going to be some weird soft reboot where they're going to carry over some characters, bring in some new ones, and it'll be like the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and the Avengers all existed on the same world the whole time. That's pretty much where they're going, unless that changes, which sounds awfully confusing to me. Awfully confusing. Oh, I answered that question soon, I hope. Gary, as a true Elden Lord, what are your thoughts on the film casting, and will A24 be able to properly adapt the tortured duality of Radagon? I have no idea. No idea. Crystal D, thank you for becoming a member. Chief Navy Doc, a new member, and Zombie Dude is a new member. Welcome. Welcome. Elden Ring, is that a game? Yeah. We'll see you in Vegas in August. I know it's hot, but like, honestly, how much time do you spend outside in Vegas? I don't. I just watched Project Hail Mary. Marvel could create a new movie, not create a new movie with even, I don't know what says the rest there. Project Hail Mary and things like Night of the Seven Kingdoms are great templates on how you adapt something, and Hollywood won't learn a single lesson from it, which is kind of a shame. Kind of a shame. All right, I got to take care of some business. I forgot to do that. Let's do it right now before we get into our next topic. Venice AI. Alexa listens to us and recommends products based on our conversations. Meta uses our information based on our browsing and engagement history to sell to other companies. Why would we assume AI is going to do any different? If you've used any of the leading AI apps, you have probably been censored at some point, even for harmless questions or requests. With Venice AI, it lets you use AI without handing over sensitive information, with features like messages encrypted and your conversation history is stored only in a browser. AI can be extremely valuable, but we shouldn't need to give up our privacy to use it. Venice utilizes leading open source AI models to deliver text, code, and image generation to your web browser. There's no downloads or installations. The Venice Pro plan unlocks the full platform and features including PDF uploads for summaries, the ability to turn off safe mode for unhindered image generation, the ability to change how Venice interacts with you by modifying the system prompt, limitless text, and high image limits. If you want to use AI without fear or of handing over your most intimate thoughts, you can get 20% off the Pro plan by using my link, venice.ai/Nerdrotic, and use code Nerdrotic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going over these threads here. There's so many from phase 4 and 5. Oh yeah, Scar. So I think now Marvel really wants to do this Young Avengers thing. So does he show up again at some point in TV? I think so. But Scar from She-Hulk, Samuel Stearns, yeah, okay. So I think the biggest one will be Monica Rambeau not showing up when she's trapped in the X-Men universe, and then the X-Men come back. Maybe they say she died. Kid Loki's going to be in it. But this is variant Loki. It's not the Loki. It's not the Loki. So Marvel wants you to forget about phase 4 and 5. That's the bottom line. If people want to try to cope about that. I don't know what to tell you. Please tell me in phase 4 where they were setting up Doomsday. The Young Avengers is, well, it's Teen Titans Young Justice. Yeah. It's supposed to be the Teen Titans or Young Justice of Marvel. In theory, not a bad idea. It was pretty good in the comics for a little while, and then it got terrible, like everything else. Inhumans and Cloak and Dagger Memory Hold. Oh my God. Remember, well, there's the Inhuman show that was on ABC, and then Cloak and Dagger show that was on, oh my God, what was the name of that network? Like Disney took it over, and I forgot the name of the network now. We covered it. It was terrible. I did see that AI Doctor Doom versus the Council of Kings. I mean, they should almost just put that in the movie at that point. It was Freeform. Freeform. Thank you. Good old Freeform. Which was formerly ABC Family, I think. But yeah, they changed it to Freeform. Yeah, I watched every episode, and I like, that was so long ago. I can't say I remember. Remember Gifted? Y'all remember Gifted, the X-Men show? I think that went 2 seasons. Had Polaris in it. Yeah, FX had Legion. It started out okay. The first 2 seasons are pretty good. Then the 3rd season, it just it passed that Me Too TDS line of demarcation that entertainment hit, and it just got shitty instantly. Like, I was out within the first 20 minutes of episode 1. I was like, oh, whoa, what the fuck? Runaways. I remember Runaways as well. Yeah, it's pre 2019, but I mean, there's like a gray area in there, Smokey, but it's pre 2019. What brought on the MCU? What brought on this massive wave of intersectional feminism predates 2019, by the way, was Me Too. And a lot of people in the chat, rightly so, were bringing up the fact that, like, this doesn't get brought up enough. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Because that was a huge factor in that. BRB, give me a second. So you track it back to Harvey Weinstein and Me Too and that whole kerfuffle. That was a big power play that really had nothing to do with Me Too, because they really stopped cold when it got to kids and men, mostly to kids, which is really strange. You know, for like a nanosecond, I was like, oh, I wonder if this is going to really start digging deep into the problem and in Hollywood that Hollywood has had for years, by the way. And it didn't. It didn't. And that's why we I think one of the biggest changes, most notable changes, we've talked about it a lot on around these parts, is Westworld. So Westworld, Chris Nolan's brother and his wife had been developing that for years. People were there before that developing. So it was 5 years of development for that show. And it really showed in season 1. It was pretty tight, great cast. Looked like it was going somewhere. It was really going to be a study of the nature of consciousness and time and reality and, you know, what makes us human. And then Me Too happens, It gets renewed. They scuttle everything they had planned after that, which was basically outlines. It wasn't written script. And they went back to the drawing board and rewrote the whole series to become a feminist fucking fever dream. It was unbelievable how quick that fell. That's a great example of that line of demarcation being crossed. And yeah, season 1, if you look at it as just season 1 as kind of like a Twilight Zone ending, I know Mahler doesn't like the ending. I'm fine with the ending. If it ends right there and you just, it's left to your imagination what happens next. Unfortunately, they released season 2, 3, and 4. And that was it for that show. And that's what affected Marvel. That's what affected Star Wars, particularly later. I'm not going to say that like casting a female lead for The Force Awakens is whatever. There were probably, what were the motivations behind it purely creative? No. We saw the finished result. It was actually purely socially and politically motivated, considering how much effort they put into the actual story. Doctor Who, changing the Doctor into a woman, was purely socially and politically motivated. And the rest is herstory, as they say. I bypassed the compressor. The memes were great from that. I bypassed the plot. Batwoman, just everything genre, as many of you noticed, it hit everything. Somebody was putting at some of the worst casting in superhero history, and it remember how upset people got when you called out the casting of Starfire, that she looked like a fucking hooker, and then they had her play a hooker in the Titan show. I remember being at Comic-Con and watching the trailers. Fuck Batman. That made people happy. That made people happy. Let's see here. Okay. With Disney Star Wars, the apathy that a lot of us were talking about 5 or 6 years ago is set in. So with Marvel, I'm trying to give them it's tough, but I'm going to give them a little credit here. It's way too late in the game. They've created too many problems, but at least they somewhat recognized there was a problem and somewhat decided to make a change. The same cannot be said for Doctor Who, Star Trek, or Star Wars. They are just forging ahead with what they have done over the last 10 years. Now, again, Doomsday and Secret Wars, is it going to work? Is it going to re-energize people into going to Marvel films again, where they can recapture the glory of the early MCU? No. Doesn't matter how good it is. They'll never be able to do that. But at least they're trying. At least they're trying. You can't say that about Star Wars. So with The Mandalorian and Grogu being the first movie that's going to be back in years, as we all know, they absolutely know this thing is going to eat shit. And if you want to go over and watch it, Mr. Grizzy put a video out with the same usual suspects visiting the set, and it's just like, oh, this has got not in tone, but just in marketing. It's got an Acolyte feel to it. And with the early box office estimates of it tracking lower than Solo, they know they have a fucking potential massive flop on their hands. It is just that obvious. But the thing is, there's like no energy. I think Ryan was talking about it on Geeks and Gamers this morning that I think the trailer, let's go look at the trailer. I don't think it's got 5 million views yet. Don't think it has 5 million views yet. Let's see. Mandalorian and Grogu trailer on Star. Okay, that's across both channels. That's from 2 months ago, not 6 months ago. 3 days ago. That's the one we're looking for. 3.9 million views. That's not great. 3.9 million views for a Star Wars movie. Ouch. How the Mighty Have Fallen. Was Star Wars explained there? Yes. Star Wars explained, Eric Voss and some guy with the muffin Gen Z haircut didn't recognize him. And they got to meet Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau, and everything was staged. I mean, they try to, again, see the Grizzy video, but they try to come off like we were invited and, oh, Jon Favreau just happened to be there, and some guy dressed up as a Mandalorian with a baby Yoda just happened to be there. No, it was fucking staged, as we all know. Was that weird guy crying again? Not yet, but I think he will. And I love that Eric Voss started a podcast, and Grizzy found this, that was specifically to push back at the whole shill accusation. It's so funny. It is so funny. Oh, yeah, we're getting Ahsoka this year, too. But the apathy for this, it's not like it's ratioed or anything on YouTube. It's not. There's lots of likes, not a lot of dislikes. I just don't think there's a lot of care. And this is where your franchises die. It's an apathy. And Ray Stevenson, may he rest in peace, by the way. May he rest in peace. But yeah, this is where they're headed. And, Star Wars and Star Trek and Doctor Who all just hit the wall. Not that they haven't before, but let's just call them the kill shots. All came within the last 2 years. And we're talking about a kill shot on a zombie, by the way. But Acolyte, Starfleet Academy, we're still getting a second season. It's unbelievable. And Doctor Who Series 15, kill shots. And not just kill shots for, well, maybe it'll come back someday. It's highly unlikely it'll come back anytime soon, we'll say. Is there always hope? Sure. Might as well bring back Flash Gordon at this point. I'd rather see that. Stock back. I said shots. Nails in the coffin. That's for sure. They even did a U.S. Red Dwarf remake pilot. Boy, it was awful. I remember hearing about. I don't know much about Red Dwarf, but I know that they tried a U.S. version and it didn't go off well. It didn't go off well. It didn't. Okay, let's go. Boondock Saints 3 is happening. It is happening, but I don't know because it was originally going to be a show. I just saw somebody say that in the chat. It was originally going to be a show, but now it's going to be a movie. We talked to Duffy about it before. And I don't, he's not involved. I think he's a producer. Troy Duffy's a producer, but it's going to be done by some John Wick people, which isn't a bad idea. Which isn't a bad idea at all. I'd love to have him on. Yeah, I'll watch it. I'm looking forward to it. Is Willem Dafoe going to be in it? We will see. You know, the casting for the Batman Part 2 might be the most exciting, and like air quotes, exciting casting there is for any superhero stuff that's out there right now. Charles Dance is going to be in it. It's like, shit. I don't know. I went back and, sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I went back and watched it after Penguin, thinking maybe, you know, maybe the Batman, I'll look at the Batman in a new light. Nope. Nope. Somebody sent me Absolute Batman, like a complete run up to whatever it's at now. So I am going to read it. If somebody was nice enough to send it, I'll read it. Not James Gunn, the Batman. No, this is the Batman Part 2 that'll come out someday. But yeah, Charles Dance, like, it's got a hell of a cast. It does. And they haven't started filming yet. I keep thinking they've started filming, but they haven't started filming yet. So we're going to get to the people here in just a moment. Some of the Square Up stuff. Let's see. Yeah. Is that for real? So The Onion is taking over InfoWars. Satire site The Onion, which hasn't been funny in years, says it has, after 17 months of legal wrangling, successfully landed a deal allowing it to take over InfoWars, a right-wing conspiracy fueled site run by Alex Jones. Ben Collins, CEO of the Onion, why did I say the Union? I confirmed variety details of the company's new plan to assume control of InfoWars under a deal with Gregory Milligan, who was appointed the bankruptcy court. Under the terms of the agreement, the Onion's parent company, Global whatever, which paid would pay $81,000 a month for a license. InfoWars got domain, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, we also have good news. We also have some good news. Clarkson's Farm season 5 will premiere June 3rd. June 3rd. And I've been watching a hell of a lot of Clarkson's Farm lately. It's a good little, just, you know, chill watching the background show. It's fucking great. But yeah, it returns on June 3rd. Very excited about that. One of the best shows on TV, and that is without question. It's Media Detox. For Clarkson's Farm, that's actually a good term for it. That is actually a really good term for it. When you want to just chill out and not think about a whole lot, you go and you watch some Clarkson's Farm. You watch some old 65-year-old man being a complete fucking idiot for an hour each episode. And it's great. And the impact of that show, I was just watching Andy Willman talk about it. He was the producer of Top Gear and Grand Tour. And it was an accident. So their Grand Tour contract had ended where they were going to do the shows in the tents, and they decided, hey, we're just going to do specials from here on. So it was thrown in as enticement to each of the hosts, like each one of them will get their own show. I think James May does Our Man wherever, and he eats. I don't even know what Richard Hammond does anymore. I know he did some show where he's a bike messenger or whatever, but he tried different things. But the only one that really took was the one that they thought would suck. And it's Jeremy Clarkson just working on his farm. And they're like, this is going to be boring. It's going to be terrible. And it turns out that it's a ratings juggernaut on Amazon Prime and watched by more people in the UK by orders of magnitude than the Rings of Power, which just makes me happy. Richard Hammond's Workshop. Okay. He does Drive Tribe 2. I watched some of it. They're bringing back the Honda Prelude. There's a new Honda Prelude. Like, what? That's cool. It's practically electric, though. But Clarkson's Farm is just feel-good TV. It's very comfortable, feel-good TV. And you learn something. You see the English, the British bureaucracy at its finest. Holy shit. And Willman is one of the best editors on the planet. So he was talking about he gets his rushes, which is all the tape for the day. And he builds. So with Grand Tour, they had storylines and they were able to. So he is able to do true editing, which is you get your rushes, you get your stuff, and he just builds something out of all that footage. That's like real editing. That's fun stuff. I miss those days. Did he? They're buddies now. Piers Morgan's in season 4, talking to him about a pub. But I'm not surprised. Listen, I think even Piers would tell you that I've kind of got a face that's punchable. I don't know if as paid his TV license, we'll find out. I ain't bailing his ass out if he goes to jail. Not doing it. Not doing it. Clarkson, Hammond, and May are Top Gear. BBC are they're complete morons. Look at how, if you go back to Nordstrom, if you go back to 2000, what? 10, 11, 12. The BBC had Doctor Who firing on all cylinders. And the biggest show on planet Earth with Top Gear. Like unquestionable, the biggest show on planet Earth. Watched by the most people on the planet. And they brought in, I don't think that's when Piers Wenger came in, but it was around that time. They brought in a guy who was going to, and all this diversity initiative stuff with the BBC started right around that time. And in quick succession, they fucked it. And then there was also the guy who worked at the BBC who just didn't like it, didn't like the show. And now the BBC had to just recently fire 2,000 people. I can't remember who whoever the guy was who had it out for Clarkson and the show. You know, short of murder, like what Clarkson did. I don't know. They don't really talk about it. He smacked a guy over a sandwich or something like that. You know, it's not a nice thing to do, but it's something you work out. It's just something when you got the biggest show in the world, you just fucking work it out. Maybe you get Clarkson the right fucking sandwich. I don't know. The BBC didn't have a problem with all the fucking diddlers they had working for them. But man, they drew the line when Clarkson slapped the guy in the face. Fucking idiots. Evil idiots at that. Morgan is coping about his wife. Clarkson gave him a wake-up punch. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, Jimmy, good old Jimmy Savile. Hopefully burning in hell. I've never paid a TV license in my life either. But a pound of flesh for all the streaming services I fucking subscribe to. At the end of each month, I go over, like, what am I not watching this month? And I do cancel them quite often because it gets annoying. What's my favorite A Song of Ice and Fire book? Storm of Swords. Storm of Swords. Yeah, well, there's an app now. I can't remember. I don't use the app, but there is an app that like keeps track of all your subscriptions. And I think the funny part about that app is it does have a subscription option, which is like, fuck. No, it is part of my gig to watch stuff, right? So and like it's a nice little write-off. It's cool. But it is, I'll give you a total. We got like I always can't, like Apple's the one I cancel the most because I watch one show. I watched Pluribus and then I was out. Peacock is one I cancel. I don't think there's any reason to go back to Peacock anymore for anything. I'm thinking of all the ones I have on my list, like Daily Wire I canceled. There's just no like. There's no reason to have it if I'm not running back and going to watch. Like Amazon Prime, I'll keep. I watch plenty on Amazon Prime. When I rent movies, I try to support YouTube as much as possible because I'm on YouTube. But yeah, it's like $300-400 a month in fucking in streaming services. Not anything I would have if this wasn't my gig, for sure. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And that's including like rentals and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. Good Omens is finally coming out. It's a movie, right? Yeah. Everybody just parted ways with Neil Gaiman, even though I think he has been exonerated. Right? Like these, whatever he was up to was consenting adults and, you know, but I think it's kind of a Joss Whedon situation where he came out as a male feminist and he acted just like a male feminist. But I think he got exonerated. Oh, he's a freak. But I mean, you're allowed to be a freak with adults. Definitely a freak. Did things with butter I never would have thought of and will never do. And wish I never read. Or it could be a situation where they just didn't have the proof. So I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn on this one. All right. They just might have not had the proof. Yes, butter in the butt. I really regret reading that. We read it. I think it was on Real BBC. Of course, got age restricted for good reason. But yeah, it sounded to me like it was just two freaky adults. But if you want to, get it. If you want to talk about like all the shit he talked during Me Too and about power dynamics, and it's like men were abusing their power and he like that's exactly what he was fucking doing. It's exactly what he was doing. So I don't know. I don't know enough to know. Alls I know is really overrated as a writer, in my opinion. I think what carried Sandman was it had great art. It had fantastic art. But if you want to hear like the pure form of his writing, there is the full cast audio drama for Sandman, right? And the cast for the audio drama is much better than the show. But I can never get through, and it's at the same point that I got to the comics. I forced myself to finish the comics when I was at the store so I could talk about them, but I just didn't like it. I think he's really overrated as a writer. I think his dialogue is cringe, absolutely cringe, especially when he's trying to write, ironically enough, women, young people. I think it's super dated, but he's good at concepts, but his dialogue is horrible. And just listen to those audio adventures and you have like real actors delivering some of the lines he wrote, and it's like, ugh. Brother, ugh. The only thing I truly liked from him was Books of Magic, which is basically Harry Potter before Harry Potter came out. Wonder why he never sued JK over that. Because Tim Hunter looks like Harry Potter. Or Harry Potter looks like Tim Hunter, like a lot. Wonder if he's ever talked about that, huh? Let me check. Let's check. Neil Gaiman. Da, 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 da. Tim Hunter, the protagonist of Books of Magic, shares striking visual, this is true, visual and narrative similarities to Harry Potter. Neil Gaiman constantly stated that Harry Potter looks like Tim Hunter, but not the other way around. And he denies any plagiarism, suggesting both writers were drawing from the same genre conventions, drinking from the same well. I was always under the impression that Books of Magic came out before Harry Potter, but maybe I'm wrong. Despite the similar premises, Gaiman and critics note the stories diverge. They do. So what came out first? Yeah, Books of Magic was like early 90s. So what? Magic release date. The Books of Magic by Neil Gaiman was originally published as a 4-issue miniseries in December of 1990 to June 91. Because I remember It was one of the last things I picked up before I went on my little vacation. So, Sorcerer's Stone release date. Waiting for a date. Not the film, the book. I'm looking for the Sorcerer's Stone book release date. It was the original UK edition titled Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was released in June 26, 1997. So yeah, Tim Hunter came way before Harry Potter, but I don't know when JK officially like conceived it. Hang on, I gotta see this. What? I missed it. Oh no. Somebody said I watched Nerdrotic and bake. There it is. Smoke weed every day. Cause I got high. Cause I got high. La da 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 da. I went to prison for 4 years cause I got high. Mm-hmm. Technically, it was 2 years. I went. I got a 4-year sentence. 2 years. I actually did a little over 3 years of my life behind bars. Do not recommend. 0 out of 10. It's not fun. The ambiance is trash. The staff is fucking terrible. The one compliment I'll give about prison is they didn't fuck up biscuits and gravy for some. The biscuits and gravy were really good. Restaurant tier biscuits and gravy. I guess it's because it's hard to fuck up biscuits and gravy. The food is mostly shit though. So if you're in the military, it's like the food you ate, but a little worse. Did I join the nerd gang? I was the nerd gang, Ryan. I was the nerd gang. No, I didn't join any gang. I didn't hang out with any people. I didn't really go out in the yard. I was told like the rules of prison and how you stay out of trouble. Because there is humanity in there. Like listen, a lot of people probably felt sorry for me because I was a pup in there. I was a little pup. And then I looked really young for my age, right? So I was 22, but I looked like 16. So there was people there that just fucking felt sorry for me, and thank God. So they go, listen, kid, you're gonna have a rough time in here. So here's what you do: stay out of trouble. And then I get that list of things to stay out of trouble. And I follow it to a T. I follow it to a T. The one I didn't like very much hearing, but it was just a fact is, oh yeah, and no matter how much you mind your own business, somebody's going to fuck with you and you're going to have to fight. You got to fight. No matter how big that person is, you got to fight. So you're like, okay, and then get your ass kicked, but at least you fought and you're respected. Oh, I got a quick haircut too. Yeah. I had beautiful long blonde hair. Like the first time I really grew out my hair long, my long flowing blonde locks were not good in prison. So I got a fucking horrible haircut. All right, off to the people. Yeah, Fabio style. Little bit, yeah. Little bit. Drinkers shower thoughts for $3. I know it's surface level, but what puts the Street Fighter trailer above the Mortal Kombat one is they actually had the balls to use accurate classic costumes. While Mortal Kombat felt like the need to make Jade bald and make up their own costumes instead. I don't think that's surface level. I think that's pretty important. I mean, you guys would know who played the game, but sticking with the original costumes, you're going to endear yourself to the fans. And at this point, like, why bother anyway? That's always been a little conundrum with superhero movies is Avengers, which is damn near a perfect superhero movie to me. My criticism is Hawkeye. They don't use him enough, and he looks like a G.I. Joe character. Hawkeye has a cool fucking costume. But somebody said, pointy mask, a little too much in a movie with a guy who's throwing around a little circle shield and in an iron suit and a big green guy. But we can't have Hawkeye in his costume for some reason. Never understood that. Amy for $5. So good to hear you again, Rags. I hope you are doing well, and I wish you the best. Your humor and commentary are greatly missed. Rags is doing good. He's got some stuff to take care of, but he's doing good. He was on EFAP too. Long story short, I'm on TNG season 6 and DS9 season 1, and now I cannot stay to see this FNT live because I'm seeing William Shatner on tour in North Carolina with a screening of Wrath of Khan, which I've seen. They're amazing. What a journey into the rabbit hole. It's that do not miss that show. It is really good. And yes, I'm blocked by William Shatner. I got caught up in some blockchain. He is still my Capitan. He is my Capitan. I don't care. I don't take it personal. Love the man. Met him a couple times. Yeah. Cousin Danny for $10 says, I've seen the Ozempic face videos. If Bella Ramsey took a triple dose, does anyone think you would notice? Probably not. 21 Palika has gifted 1 Nerdrotic membership. Sunday West has gifted 1. And Jesus Davilla has gifted 1. Flint Ironstag for 20 says, due to the whole Katy Perry Ruby Rose thing, I thought, what's the female version of teabag? Fish stick? Crab dip? Lip gloss? I think those are all good. I mean, the chat can decide. I think those are really good suggestions, though. I would, I think crab dip. I would go with crab dip. Because fish stick, still a little phallic. Crab dip is, I think you get more of the picture with that one. God is especially trolling Ryan. The Bears are leaving Chicago. The Cubs suck. And he is surprised by what crawls out at 12 midnight. The only thing worse would be Jehovah's Witness visit him. Oh, I'm sure they have. He might need it. I think Ryan needs a little God in his life. Jacob Wolf for $1.99. Going to the movies in Florida is always the worst. Tron and John Carter got crapped by Disney. Yes, the Legacy, yes. I'd like to take Gina Carano to that TrekCon, walk her up to Strange New Worlds booth, and ask Rebecca Romaine, so, would you like to attack Mrs. Carano the way you did your husband? Albert Not a Retro. I'm not sure what that. John Stamos. I was really hoping those kids would get back together. I was rooting for him. Super Mastermind for $5. Gary, play the demo of the game Claude. You can pet the escaped cute dinosaurs. Everyone else screams, but not you, of course. Probably not, but thanks. Jacob Wolf for $4.99. After Hail Mary, I wish we got the original version of Solo, but one thing about Solo I really liked was that Han and Lando casting. I mean, is it the... I mean, I hated that movie. I fucking hated that movie. Was it the casting I hated? I guess he was okay. What's his face is Lando? I wasn't impressed. Fuck. What's his name? Yeah. I hated that movie because it didn't need to exist. It gave us too much information, and it was just Han Solo being led around by a fucking woman. Typical Disney shit. I don't know if Lord and Miller's version would have been that much better. But we'll never know because reports are, it varies between 70% and 90% of the film being reshot. Dong Lover. Yeah, he wasn't a good Lando. It was totally pointless. And Freckled Jesus is in it. So it's Khaleesi. It's Daenerys fucking leading Han Solo around by the nose. And then Freckled Jesus shows up and does the whole, like, there's a character in a full covered mask, and she pulls the mask off, and we go, it's a girl. Dong Lover. Yeah. Rags, it's so great to see you here. Been praying for you. Going through some tough stuff myself. So just wanted to tell you, thanks for being you. Says Hush for $10. Hope you're both feeling better. Ryan will appreciate this. Dave Filoni is like Mr. Herbert from Family Guy, but instead of kids, it's his dog. Rebellion for $2.79 asks, The Gentleman or Mobland? Do I have to choose? Do I have to choose? If I have to choose, gun to my head, Gentleman. It's a little more fun. Ludacris, thank you for the $19.99. Just drops it and walks away. Honestly Reckless for $4.99. Sending mad respect to the stunning and brave Ryan Kinnell for the Once Upon a Time lore drop. By the way, yo, Rags, what's up, baby? Nicholas Horton, Justice for Rebecca Forever for £5 proper money. Hail. What does Ryan Kinnell think of the Maul Shadow Lord? Don't ask him. We all know he's Filoni's biggest fan. Star Wars animation always been better than most live action stuff. He hasn't watched it, and I don't think he cares. Dead and Dug Up for $9.99. Vectrix was the best video game system from the 80s for the uninitiated. Johan for 22 euros says, thanks, lads, for getting me through some dark times. Oh, sorry. Speaking of dark, has Disparu finished black facing every page in his Pedro Pascal coloring book? I think he has. Ludacris has dropped 20 and walks away. Awesome. Mega Cug for $1.99 says, I'm pooping right now. I hope you finished by now. Hope you finished. There aren't enough talented writers for the number of 10-hour series that Netflix and Disney release annually. At least we need to return to episodic adventures. Yes. Well, there's just not enough talented writers to cover all of the stuff they were putting out, particularly at the peak of the streaming wars. But now that they're over, there's still too much stuff coming out. I think in the peak of the streaming wars, there were 600 scripted shows, 600. And they've run out a lot of the talent. JIJ says, hi, Rags. Hello. There is also a photo of Ken and Ryu wearing the same clothes that Ken and Ryu wore in the Van Damme movie in the trailer. Oh, for Street Fighter. I thought the trailer was cool. I'm pumped to see Street Fighter. I've always liked it more than Mortal Kombat. Hoping David, can't pronounce that last name, can fill Raul Julia's shoes as Bison. R.I.P. Raul Julia. Alucard for $5 says, for you, the day the actress opens her mouth was the most important moment of your life. But for me, it was for saving money. Okay. Bubba Doom for $5. What's up, Bubba Doom? The trailer made me heartsick for the 90s. Now I'm going to have to listen to some Weezer and Toadie's Possum Kingdom. Oh, the 90s. Thoughts on Quartering ruining his entire career by flagging people? Ask Prim for $4.99. I mean, I've talked about it before. I usually stay out of this stuff, but false flagging people is the worst thing you can do as a YouTuber. And whether you did it or not, announcing it publicly and then privately where it gets publicly and then it happening, you can't blame the internet for doing what the internet will do. And even threatening it is gay. So I don't know, take responsibility for it and try to just take the L at some point. Or, you know what? I would say at the beginning, stay out of it. People are going to go after us all the time. They do all the time. And it's part of the internet. It's part of the gig. It's part of the gig. They have done Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. Guess Tekken is next. Maybe, Graham Potato. Maybe. Maybe. Candace Owens has the #1 podcast in the world. What's that say about the world? Rinsler lives for $9.99. Oh, there's another flash flood warning. Stay away from that Guadalupe River if you're in my parts. You really don't think any of our audience would listen to you guys as well? LOL. If authenticity sells, how about how does she have the #1 show if she is not authentic? As Rinsler lives. I don't know. I don't listen to her stuff to know enough. Not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. NCIS Origins, a spinoff of a spinoff, did an episode centered around a police dog and his backstory. Better writing and acting by the dog than anything in Star Trek 90210. Also, RIP Ed Baldwin. Says JM Bet Commissioner for $10. Doomsday is filmed for IMAX, so they look stupider. Was it filmed for IMAX? I'm checking right now. It was not shot natively for IMAX. But Disney did try to put out their Infinity Vision, which is basically an app to tell you where the nice theaters are going to be and make it as a cope for not being in the IMAX theaters. But it wasn't shot natively for IMAX, so. I would just say like #1 podcast in the world. I mean, it just depends on taste. There's a lot of people who I don't listen to who have the #1 podcast in the world. It's up to you to figure out what's authentic or not. All I have to go off of is clips without context, right? But I also know Candace. I just know about her past as somebody who wanted to dox people through a program, and then she flipped later on And certainly people can change, but I know her and Laura Loomer are fighting. And once I clicked on one of those fucking posts on X, it was just Laura Loomer and Candace Owens. So I just not interested. Don't care. Let them fight. We'll see what happens. But yeah, most of the political sphere is pretty gay right now. It's pretty gay. It's also why these movie studios are going broke, says Jesse J for $2. Oh, the budgets for sure. Hale, poor writing aside, the stuff sucks because the overuse of CGI, live action 3D tune nowadays. True. When Uncanny Valley outweighs practical shit suffers. It is why Cruise still makes bangers. Love you guys. Right back at you, Jesse. Ben Shapiro is the Jewolverine. Do the claws come out of his eyebrows? Thunderstorm for $9.99. They killed Tony Stark and made Sam Wilson Captain Black American Falcon. It's a huge problem. They are pretending isn't a problem. And it's carrying over to Doomsday because you brought back Chris Evans to play Chris Evans. He's not going to be in the Cap costume because you gave it to Sam Wilson, whose movie flopped. And by the way, his costume sucks. What's up, dogs and doggy? Oh, hi, Rags. I'm a little behind, but the Leia looks like the man woman from Shrek. The Princess Leia from Galaxy's Edge. Rockbert for 5,000 arses. I hope Doomsday flops so bad that it forces Disney to stop making these awful movies for at least a couple of years. Hail FNT. Cheers. I mean, that's what they need to do. So what they need to do is reset the entire universe, end your MCU. And that's what, Doomsday and Secret Wars are the end of the MCU. Okay. Someday I promise I know how it ends. Okay. And it is a definitive end of the MCU and they're starting a new chapter. Now, how many characters? It's a soft reboot. It's not a hard reboot, which it should be. So how many people are they carrying over from? And I could tell you that in this soft reboot, everybody's going to exist on one world and their memories will be wiped. At least that's what they're running with now. So they will be carrying over characters and then some will stay dead. Does Ant-Man stay dead? I don't know. I was told he's pretty dead though. Like they're done with Ant-Man. And despite how I felt about the films, Paul Rudd's Ant-Man is not like the one I would get rid of. I would get rid of everybody from Phase 4 and 5. But there you go. They didn't ask me. But they need to take a break, recast everybody, and start over. That's why casting Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic is just a head scratcher. It's terrible. But what are they going to do with Galactus? What are they going to do with female Silver Surfer? I don't fucking know. I don't know. But I know they're not going to be doing the hard reset that they need to do. And preceding that hard reset needs to be some time. Needs to be some time. DB asks, how was your weekend, everybody? How was your weekend? Mine was good, productive. And then DB says, whoa, buddy. Care as much for Doomsday as Disparu for this chat, says Friday Night Whites. Is Disparu muted or on a sponsored silence? Friday Night Whites is really keeping track of Disparu's word count. Maybe he was just listening. See, the one thing Disparu gets, that's why Disparu is a pro, okay? The one thing Ryan gets, the one thing Disparu gets is understanding the pauses and the necessary restraint on a stream. They know when to come in, they know when to come out. They're really damn good at it. I don't necessarily know how good I am at it, but they're good at it. Rags is Ocean Man, Hollywood, unable to tell friend from foe, has adopted the worldview of the enemies of culture. Gary and Ryan, should I give up on waiting for the Harry Potter chapter by chapter stream to begin? Been holding off starting the first audiobook until they begin. No, I mean, it'll happen, but I've got a lot of stuff going on right now. I've got a lot of stuff going on right now that I need to. I was sick for almost 2 weeks, which put me behind on everything. And now that I'm feeling better, I mean, I was able to stream because it's just streaming, but I wasn't able to do much after a MegaCon. So still behind, but we'll keep you updated. You can always just read the book again. Could you have had 3 series of Mando season 2, Boba Fett, Luke, and Grogu and Mandu? They could have all led to the Thrawn trilogy of movies. Great in concept, but Dave Filoni is the one guiding the story. So you could have done that, and it still would have sucked. I mean, that's what they're doing. It's not a Thrawn trilogy, but I think he's going to be the bad guy. So that's exactly they're leading into. That's why it's weird that they did the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, because there's supposed to be a movie from Dave Filoni with all the D+ series leading into something. And I could care less. But that's what they were doing. Maybe an avenue for these companies could be to send a rep now and again to guest on shows such as this. Okay, maybe not. This is this one, maybe not this one, and others to clear things up. Love you from the UK, Sam Wilson, for 10 British pounds. The white Sam Wilson. I don't think they would ever do that. And honestly, I don't. If that opportunity came along, for their own good, I would tell them not to do it. Like, you would get torn apart and you wouldn't be ready for it. And the corporations aren't, they don't need to do that. They don't. They have plenty, an army of shills at their beck and call to push any narrative they like, including deplatforming. First super chat ever from Black Metal Noob Bassist. 5.99 euros. Thank you. Rags was watching EFAP 100 today with tears in my eyes. Damn, Donald is a legend. I love you guys. Please tell Mahler also. Gringo Mayo for $5. Allegedly, M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong is working on a sequel to The Sixth Sense. What? No details on the plot yet, but working title is The Sixth Bull. Whoa, for $2 says, when are you guys going to have Mr. Grizzy on FNT? We probably should. Luke Smart for 10 Canadian pesos says, if Disney wants to keep doing Star Wars shows and not movies, they should totally do a KOTOR series. The Old Republic games era is a gold mine that they would fuck up. I mean, God bless people for still having hope, but I would just say Disney, don't make anything. Thunderstorm for $9.99. Next Mall Disney Laundering Plus series will be Mall at the Mall buying a mall. 10 raised tube for $4.99. Hail, real life fake wizard chosen of Mistra. What's the future of gaming? He will say indie gaming. Indie gaming. Now that the Masters of the Universe director basically said that He-Man is gay, he did? Nerds Gold for $10. How big of a flop will it be? I don't recall him saying that. I think that would have gotten around. Chat, did the director of He-Man say he was gay? I mean, we all assumed, but did he say he was gay? I mean, maybe I missed it. It always has been. The actress playing Tila said it's about toxic masculinity. That we discussed. Eddie Simpson for $4.99. FNT theme song signals beer 30 for the weekend. Hail the weekend and hail the fellowship. Here's to at least 400 more. Oh, God. When was the last Sigourney movie that was good? I don't know. That's a good question. Rewind to the robots part in the trailer. What's up with that design? Robocox. This may have already been said, but did Rags transform from EFAP to FNT? Mueller will be sad. Nice to see you back, Rags. Well, he was on EFAP the next day. Major studios are getting rid of their physical media department, starting with Disney, part of the job cuts. That sucks. Yeah. The only hope we can hold is that they're going to be letting third-party companies do it, and they'll be kind of specialized, right? Like Shout Factory and all that. But there just isn't enough money. But if they make them specialized, they're going to have to make them. Well, they already are expensive. God, 4K is what, are $40? But I don't understand getting rid of physical media. I mean, the people are, it might, again, be a smaller market, but there's still going to be a market there. What they make the shit out of vinyl now. Introducing Trapper Wolf, the best starfighter pilot in the galaxy, voiced by Ryan Kinnell. Kinnell does a pretty good Dave Filoni impression. Mando's new ship is the Falcon Crest. I'm Yoda, Absolute Cinema, $5 gorgillion, says Daniel Moore. Varn, part 1. Gary, you should really read Legend by David Gemmell when you have time. Really inspirational story, only 350 pages long, or 11-hour audiobook. Also, the Fargate, you mean? Season 3, there was a Morandu and a Garangu. Interesting how the small dude named the green mad-eating ogre. Does Star Wars copy them? They did. They copied Fargate. Josh Kelsey has dropped $19.99. That's what he does. He walks away. New True Detective spinoff is in the works at HBO. It will be called Bull Detective. Plot is about a streamer that is incapable of pleasing his wife. Says Gringo Mayo for $5. Sounds like a sad story. We could have had a Vegas meetup if Ryan acted right. So we're still going to have one. Rocky and Egg are superior, selling product inferior. I don't know what that means. Friendly reminder that Jeremy the Quartering deserves all the hate for flagging down Kino Casino's channel. DEI love for $4.99. Well, sometimes, no, all the time on the internet, there is a thing called optics, and you have to think about that. And optics aren't necessarily what's true, but to many, reality is perception. And if you say you are or could flag people down and then they get flagged down, again, you can't help what the internet is going to think. You can't control that at that point. I would recommend not even saying shit like that. Tiara, thank you for the $3. I appreciate it. What would you rather see? A movie written by Jar Jar Abrams and directed by Rian Johnson, or a movie written by Rian and directed by Jar Jar? And no, neither is not the answer. Wow, that's demanding, Big T. Gun to my head. I think written by Jar Jar and directed by Rian. Daniel Moore says, skipped all my soups from last week, Tax. But I didn't. There we go. The critical drinker is racist and sexist, says Roman Walker. I'm excited for Mandalorian and Grogu. Well, I mean, your opinion just went right out the window after that one. Please cite your sources of the sexism and racism. Golem's half-botched circumcision leftover for 25,000 PYGs. Did you guys mind if I plug in a live channel? That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, of course. A VTuber named Nyannis here on YouTube. She's cool cat on a noble mission. Beardo fat. Beardo fat. At least you got with Disbrew some female energy on today's panel. That's true. We always do, though. That's all the time. Hail FNT, I have a meme video for your perusal. Take a look. It's called Shad's Finest Hour on the Badgering YouTube channel. Check it out. All right. Gary, when is Hollywood going to start challenging themselves again? Nah, I don't think so. And not anytime soon. Minister Vaude, He-Man and Street Fighter would have been good like 24 years ago. And then Bobby Sharp says ColecoVision was the last great gaming system. There you go. Now you're talking. Everything since has been flashy graphics. Gary rules. That's right. ColecoVision was the last good one. Diana's was on Gundam's live streams quite a few times. She's cool. Oh, there you go. She hangs with Gundam, then she's cool. Damn straight. Damn straight. Joshua Curtis, been a member for 4 months. Thank you. DL Racer is a new member. Smokey the Bear is a new member. Jesus Davila says, Gary, all these years, and I'm surprised I haven't heard you make a hammerhead joke about Ryan's forehead. Maybe I was holding out for him to show up in Spider-Man. Maybe I was holding out. All right. I know I'm old. I like being old. It's great being old. It's fantastic. Yes, I was in Vegas last week doing the recording for The Basement for AJ at the Y-Files. Sorry I missed you. Why, thanks. I look good for 85. Thank you. Yes, there was a man in a dress in the first one. Sorry, I was coughing. There is a man in a skirt, and everybody likes to point to that, and they got rid of it because people absolutely rejected it. Thanks. The Y-Files Forbidden Frontier episode. That was fun. That was lots of fun. I don't know, man. Did I not just talk about internet optics and there's just things you can't control? You can say you're not gay, but the internet's not going to believe it. You got to prove it. You got to prove it. All right. I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to go check out the video we're working on. We'll be back with the real BBC tomorrow. And thanks for hanging out. Again, this was just a chill stream. Wasn't even really prepared. Not that I'm ever prepared for them, but thanks for hanging out. Appreciate y'all. Let's see who's streaming right now. Let's see who's streaming. Versus. Here we go. We can go into versus. All right, so go over to Film Threat. Versus has started. Tell them I said what's up. And thanks to the Nerdrotics. Thanks to everyone who left the super chat and donation. You help keep the lights on. And I will see you next time. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.